Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a classic story. It's all about how one little secret phrase could lead to unbelievable riches, but also some seriously deadly consequences. Yep, we're talking about Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves.
So let's get into it. Meet Ali Baba. He's just a regular guy, a simple woodcutter. But, one totally normal day out in the forest is about to turn his entire world upside down. He's about to stumble onto something extraordinary and incredibly dangerous.
So, let's set the scene. It all starts with this secret out in the middle of the woods, a totally random discovery that's going to change not just his life, but everyone's life around him forever.
Okay, so picture this. Ali Baba's out working, and suddenly he hears this thunder of hooves. He scrambles to hide up in a tree, right? And from there he sees this massive gang, 40 of them, all on horseback, right up to what looks like just a big, boring rock.
And then the leader gets off his horse and he yells out this really strange kind of musical phrase. You see it right there, Kul Ja Simsim. We know it as Open Sesame. And you can just imagine Ali Baba's shock because the solid rock actually grinds open and reveals a hidden cave. No way.
So, the thieves do their thing, drop off their loot, and ride off. Ali Baba sitting there, his heart's probably pounding, right? His curiosity just gets the better of him. He climbs down, says the magic words himself, and whoa, he steps into a cave just overflowing with treasure. Gold, jewels, everything. But here's the key. He's cautious. He doesn't get greedy. He just grabs 3 small bags of gold and gets out of there.
Now, Ali Baba's plan was simple. Just use this money to help his family. But come on, a secret this big, it's almost impossible to keep. And when it inevitably gets out, it brings his very rich, very jealous brother Qasim into the picture. And that leads to disaster. And this is where the story really gets interesting, because you have this huge contrast between the two brothers. You've got Ali Baba, who's humble and careful, and then there's Qasim, who's already wealthy but is just eaten up by greed. It's this total clash of personalities that really kicks off the tragedy of the story.
So how does the secret get out? It's such a tiny little thing. Ali Baba's wife borrows a pot to measure the gold, and Qasim's wife, who's already suspicious, cleverly puts a bit of wax at the bottom. And sure enough, a single gold coin gets stuck. That's all the proof Qasim needs. He confronts Ali Baba and basically forces him to spill the beans. And Qasim, he doesn't even hesitate. He sprints to the cave, gets inside, and he is just blown away. I mean, he goes nuts, just greedily stuffing his bags, totally lost in the sight of all this wealth. But in all that excitement, he forgets one tiny, absolutely crucial detail.
So when he's finally ready to leave, he turns back to the entrance and nothing. His mind is a complete blank. He can't remember the words. He starts to panic, shouting out anything he can think of. Open barley, open wheat, but it's no use. The magic only works with the exact phrase. That treasure cave just became his tomb. Okay, so when the thieves get back, they find Qasim, and they realize something terrifying. Someone else knows about their secret hideout. And now, they're not just thieves anymore. They're on the hunt.
So the leader sends out one of his smartest guys into the city with one mission: find the other person who knows. He's told to listen for any gossip, any talk of sudden fortune. And it works. He manages to track the secret all the way to Ali Baba's front door.
And this is where we meet the real hero of the story, in my opinion, Ali Baba's wife. The thief secretly puts a chalk mark on their door so the whole gang can find it later that night. But she sees it. She immediately gets what's happening, and she comes up with this brilliant, simple plan. She goes out and puts the exact same mark on every single door on their street. You can imagine the thieves when they show up later. They have no idea which house is the right one. Totally brilliant.
Well, that failure just makes the leader of the thieves furious. He's been outsmarted, and he's not going to let it happen again. So now he decides to take matters into his own hands, and his new plan is way more direct and a whole lot scarier.
So he shows up at Ali Baba's house, disguised as an oil merchant, asking if he can stay the night. And he brings with him all these huge oil jars. Ali Baba, being a good host, lets him in, completely oblivious to the fact that only one of those jars is actually full of oil.
So later that night, Ali Baba's wife, our hero, remember, goes out to get a little oil for the lamps, and as she gets close to the jars in the dark, she hears something that must have just frozen her blood. A whisper coming from inside one of the jars. Is it time yet?
And in that single instant, it all clicks. The terrible, horrifying truth. These jars aren't full of oil. They're in ambush. The entire gang is hiding inside them, just waiting for the signal to jump out and kill everyone.
But does she scream? Does she panic? Absolutely not. This woman has nerves of steel. She understands the danger, and instead of freaking out, she comes up with a plan. A terrifying but absolutely brilliant plan to stop them.
She goes back to the kitchen, completely silent. She takes the oil from that one real jar and gets it boiling hot. And then she goes from jar to jar and pours the boiling oil inside each one by one. It's brutal, but in one single move, she single-handedly takes out the entire gang of thieves. The threat is just gone.
A little later, the thief leader comes out to give the signal for the attack, and he's met with total silence. He quickly realizes his plan has been completely destroyed, and his men are, well, they're gone. He just flees into the night, and that's the last anyone ever hears from him.
And just like that, the danger is over. The secret of the cave is safe, and the treasure now belongs to Ali Baba's family. You know, Ali Baba might have been the one who found the cave, but let's be real. It was his wife's quick thinking and incredible courage that actually saved them all and secured that fortune.
So, that leaves us with this one big question, right? Think about it. That magic phrase, open sesame, it brought so much death and terror into their lives, but it also gave them security, a whole new future. So what was it, really? A blessing or a curse? It really makes you wonder about the true price of wealth, doesn't it?